Hello my friends, welcome back to another video. This is going to be a different kind of video than I've done before. I say that a lot recently. This is going to be another video. I'm pretty sure I say that quite a bit these days, but hey, what's wrong with branching out, right? So I figured with everything that's going on in the world, I just realised this is a light pole and it's in frame. But I am in a really small shed, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, I figured with everything going on in the world, and the fact that we're all quarantined inside our shed or bedroom, or just house, whatever, we've got a lot of spare time. And so I thought I'd do a video on kind of my suggestions for films and documentaries for poets. I know the title says films, but I don't actually have enough films, so I threw in some documentaries. I hope that's okay. That I think would go down well for any poet watching this that needs something to do because they're not writing. I'm not writing at the minute, I just can't seem to do it. There's too much on my brain, too much going on. So, let's get started. So I'm not really going to do this in order because tastes change, right? And sometimes what I'd put at the top of the list falls down to third place or whatever. But with the exception of this, number one, this is the one number... Oh dear, I don't know what this video is going to be like because I'm going to try and not edit it too much. I kind of just want to connect person to person. My other videos, they're so cut. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent. Number one, my number one film. This is probably at the moment in my top 3 films of all time. My first one being Back to the Future, second one being Whiplash, and then this one. It is Shakespeare in Love. Let me make sure I got that in frame. Shakespeare in Love. I have watched this, I think I watched this at least 4 times last week alone. I'm very sad. That probably says a lot about me right now, but yeah, I watched this 4 times last week. It's basically, it's all fiction, it's all fictional, but it basically asks the question, you know, what if Shakespeare had writer's block and met a woman and it inspired Romeo and Juliet? And it's sort of a love letter to the theatre world. It has lots of sort of in-jokes if you do theatre and stuff. So that's number one. If you got time, watch it. It was on Netflix, UK Netflix, but I don't think it is now. But number one film, Shakespeare in Love. Give it a watch. So number 2, and it's just coming off the pile, but you can tell that he's one of my favourite poets, I guess, is this documentary series by the BBC and Michael Wood, who is amazing. He also appears in one of my other documentaries further down this list. But In Search of Shakespeare is a really, really cool documentary series. I've watched it a couple of times now all the way through. If you're into history, which I am, it's one of my hobbies, history and geography. It's really cool. It sort of traces Shakespeare from his birth in Stratford right up until his death in Stratford, and goes through his whole journey as a playwright and theatre owner and such. It's really good. So if you got, and I think they're an hour episode and there's 4 episodes. So if you can pick that up, definitely do it. Maybe I'll do, so I've got some DVDs as you can see, and some of them are on YouTube and across the web. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. So what I'll do, any sort of documentary that is via YouTube, of course I'm going to leave a link for it down below in the description. The first one is a documentary on Lord Byron, and he was quite the man. He was quite the man indeed. Quite scandalous. I don't know too much of Lord Byron. I haven't read any of Lord Byron's work. Throw my hands up. One day I will get round to it, I'm sure. But I was kind of just looking for documentaries on poets and came across this. The Scandalous Adventures of Lord Byron. I'm not massively keen on the host, the guy that hosts it. He just grates on me. I think he's a bit too full of himself. I think he was really big back in the 90s. Ironically, I didn't realise this until last week, because I hadn't seen Shakespeare in Love for a while, and then I obviously watched this documentary. But ironically, he plays Christopher Marlowe in Shakespeare in Love, so that's a shame. But anyway, this is an interesting documentary on Lord Byron. It comes in 2 parts. I'll link part 1 down below. It's really interesting. He travelled the world. He was quite the sexual predator, I think. Maybe not predator. He was very sexual. I can't think of the word, but he had a high sex drive, apparently. And he was a bit like, I would say, Jack Kerouac of his day. He travelled a lot. So yeah, the link for that will be down below. I think that is now number 3. So number 4, we'll go back to a DVD. Talking of Jack Kerouac, Kill Your Darlings, which centres around the forming of the beat poets. It mostly centres around Allen Ginsberg's life, played by Daniel Radcliffe. I think this was one of the first films he did after Potter, and he's still wearing glasses, bless him. But yeah, this is really interesting. It's an insight into their lives. I could give you a spoiler towards the end, but I won't, which I didn't realise happened until watching this film. But it's fun and well worth watching. We're only 3.5 minutes in. This could be an incredibly boring video, actually. I'm just kind of listing off different things, aren't I? I'm not really talking in depth about the films. To be honest, I can only talk really in depth about this one because this, as I say, I watched it 4 times last week. All the others, it's been a while since I watched, but they're definitely something I would recommend whilst you've got nothing to do. I'm talking a lot. I will jump back to a documentary. Now, this was on BBC 4 back in December, and I recorded it off the TV. I don't know if you can find it now. I'm sure people with better Google capabilities than me will be able to find a link to it to watch. But it is Ovid, the Poet and the Emperor. Hopefully during edit I can throw up a screen grab of something or other. And of course there'll be a link to the BBC 4 page that will tell you all about it. This is also hosted by Michael Wood, the guy I was telling you about in Shakespeare, in Search of Shakespeare. I'm a real big fan of him. I'm pretty sure he's a writer as well. He's got some books out. I'm sure he's made a book on In Search of Shakespeare, which I'll buy at some point. But yeah, this was a really interesting documentary. Again, I haven't read any Ovid yet. I know that Ovid was one of Shakespeare's biggest influences and favourite writers. So that's kind of how I know about Ovid, but I've never read anything. And he got like, what's the word? Not ostracised. Is it ostracised? He got banished from Italy, I want to say. And they kind of banished him to what they considered the edge of the world by the Black Sea. But he's huge in Italy. I want to say Italy. I really hope I'm right there. Again, I've only seen this documentary once, but I really enjoyed it. I want to say Italy and not Greece. I'm pretty sure Ovid was from Italy. If I'm wrong, please feel free to give me a load of abuse down in the comments. But not too much. Go a little bit easy on me, I guess. So what number is that? That's 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5. So we're already halfway there. Okay, we're 6 minutes in. That's a bit better. I've spoken a load of sugar for 3 minutes. Okay, so I watched this for the first time last week. It's about Oscar Wilde. It's Oscar Wilde's life. It's got a huge cast, actually. It's got Stephen Fry, who I'm a big fan of, Jude Law, Vanessa Redgrave, Michael Sheen, and Tom Wilkinson. I'd give this a watch. It might have been because I was really tired that I wasn't totally gripped. But again, it's about a poet, it's about a writer. And this is a list of films for poets and documentaries for poets. So give that a watch if you've got nothing else to do. I'm not bagging on it. I will probably have to watch it again. It's probably really good. I'm sure it's really good. I just watched it at like 11 o'clock at night after a long day. So that's probably why I didn't give it my full attention. So let's go to another DVD. Back to the Beat Poets and back to Allen Ginsberg. Howl. This has got another big cast. James Franco, John Hamm, Jeff Daniels. And this is about the very famous poem by Allen Ginsberg, Howl, and how it went through court for being very rude, and they tried to shut him down basically. A lot of publishing, again this is all off memory because I don't know too much about Allen Ginsberg. I'm a big fan of Jack Kerouac, but I haven't got round to Howl yet. I have got round to Howl. I haven't read Howl actually, but I've watched it on YouTube. The poem, not the film. I have watched the film. I should probably move on. I'm just stumbling over my words now, aren't I? Howl. Yes. Basically, publishing houses were determined not to publish it because it was very rude and out there. I don't know what that was. The Claw, I guess. Until one smaller publishing house published it and made history. So there you go. Just so I don't get too confused, I'll do the last DVD. Vanessa Redgrave again. Where did I see her? Oh, Vanessa Redgrave is in... Yeah, is in Wilde. Okay, she's in this as well. Back to my boy Shakespeare. I think that's 3 times he's now appeared in this list. Anonymous, which is a film based on the theory that Shakespeare didn't write his plays at all, but actually, I don't know if he's part of the royal family or if he's a duke or something or other. Let me prepare. Illicit wrong. Essex. Is he an Earl of Essex? Duke of Essex? I don't know how this works, to be honest with you. He's part of the establishment anyway, I would say. Yeah. Basically, it's on the theory that one of those, the Duke of Essex or the Earl of Essex, wrote plays, but because of who he wasn't allowed to write plays. And so he paid William Shakespeare to put his name to it. I don't believe all that, to be honest. I like to think that there was one genius man, and Shakespeare was Shakespeare. But it's an interesting film anyway. It's a bit dramatic, but, you know, it's Shakespeare, so I guess it kind of works, maybe. But it's another big cast. Derek Jacobi, Reese... Is it Ifans? I'm not sure how you pronounce it, sorry. And Vanessa Redgrave. And the one of the vampires from Twilight's in it as well. So, we're now in 10.5 minutes. I'm talking a load of crap. And you probably just want me to wrap this up. So you've now got quite a few. I'm not going to count them. So, another YouTube documentary is going to be linked down below in the description again, and it's Edgar Allan Poe, Terror of the Soul. Edgar Allan Poe is obviously a very popular American poet. He's very dark, gothic, famous for The Raven and many other things. Maybe if an American subscriber can tell me, did he do, I think he did short stories as well, if I'm correct. He wrote a book or something or other. I don't know. But yes, link in the description. He had a very tough life. A lot of people in his life died of TB. So, yeah. Give that a watch. And then the last one is another YouTube documentary that came out in 2013, I think it was. And that's on Bukowski, Charles Bukowski, another popular American writer. And this one's called Born Into This. I watched my first sort of introduction to Charles Bukowski was from YouTube by a documentary, and it was so good and really sort of human and touching. But I can't remember what one it was, and I've never been able to find it again. But this is a good substitute anyway. I enjoyed watching this too. So yes, those are 10 films and documentaries for poets to keep you occupied during quarantine, I guess. There are 2 other honourable mentions that I found yesterday, and they are... No, there's 3, sorry, there's 3, I think. Let me have a look. Yes, there's 3. So there's a film called Barfly in 1987, which is based on Charles Bukowski. I haven't watched it, but I'm going to watch it probably tonight. There's also another film made in 2005 called Factotum, again based on Charles Bukowski. And there is a film that is on Amazon Prime. You can't get it on DVD here in the UK, but you can in the US. It's called Big Sur. I didn't know this existed until this morning whilst putting this list together. It's based on Jack Kerouac's book, Big Sur, which is a really good book. I've read it. I think it's probably not as popular as On the Road, but I think it was his next big thing. I could be totally wrong there, but that's what my mind wants me to say. So I will also leave links to those down below as honourable mentions. I can't say if they're good or bad because I haven't watched them. But anyway, that's my list. Have a good time watching all of that. Let me know if I missed anything. If you've got any films, especially films, but if you've got any documentaries and films about poets that I haven't mentioned here, please send them through because I'm always looking for new things to watch. My name's Adam Gary. I'm a writer and a poet. My socials are up there. Please like and subscribe. Oh, we also hit 200 subscribers as well from the live stream. So hello to all my new subscribers. Hope you enjoy your time here. And I hope this wasn't too much of a drag to watch. See you later.